Hello, hello. We are here. The police corruption in the city of Mount Vernon. Right now, national headlines are reading Mount Vernon police official fired following arrest and Bronx shooting investigation. This woman was the deputy police commissioner of the city of Mount Vernon. She was unqualified for the position. And also, her son is a gang member. She is gang affiliated. And beyond that, he has numerous arrests tied to what could only be considered gang related conduct. It is not possible that the city of Mount Vernon, the county of Westchester, were unaware that this woman's child is a gang member. And this is the kind of things that happen in Westchester County. The entire government in Westchester County are gang affiliated, mostly because there is a gang that is nationwide known as Bounty Hunter Bloods. They traffic drugs from California to New York and then distribute those drugs to other states. I have been continuously reporting this to various agencies in New York, and they continue to cover it up. Let's go through this story. Actually, can we watch this?
Jennifer Lackard was a second in command at the Mount Vernon Police Department, serving as its deputy police commissioner for more than 6 years. She helped keep crime off the city streets and arrested criminals when she...
All right, let me stop there. So, I believe his first incident was in 2018. So that means she was hired in 2020. When she was hired, not only was she unqualified, but her son was already a known gang member at that point. He had already been involved in a shooting, if I'm not mistaken, where it was alleged that he was stacking gang signs on a bus. And I'm sure it was alleged because all buses have cameras on them. You could say a fight ensued, and then he was shot in his chest.
She needed to, but this morning, she was greeted at the door by police officers, but they were there to put handcuffs on her and now charged alongside her 20-year-old son with attempted murder. We'll show you video tonight of the 49-year-old Lackard who was let out of the 44th precinct a little while ago, her hands cuffed behind her back. Her son Chase is still inside.
So I also want to mention that it appears her husband was also in the vehicle. He is a foreman heroin dealer with convictions, more than likely also gang affiliated. And if I had to guess, all three of these individuals are tied to Bounty Hunter Bloods, and the entire government in Westchester County refuses to acknowledge that Bounty Hunter Bloods exist. I have audio and video recordings of Greenburgh police pretending that Bounty Hunter Bloods are not a thing in Greenburgh, and on Payne Street, there's just some gang that's unknown.
The precinct, according to sources, both were arrested at their home on Boynton Avenue in the Southview section this morning, a little more than a month after the high-ranking cop allegedly drove the getaway car for her son in an apparent shooting involving a gang. Lackard's son is accused of opening fire back on June 29th behind the Bronx criminal courthouse while inside the car with his mom behind the wheel. His target...
All right, so this just happened recently. Not only is this child gang affiliated, not only are they being charged with attempted murder, but they did this outside of a courthouse. This was brazen and bold. And if you ask me, government officials in Westchester County were fully aware of this. There is a gang watch list in every city in Westchester County. I have repeatedly requested that the district attorney's office release the gang watch list. Those requests go ignored. This should have never happened. She should have never had that position.
A rival gang member. No one was shot in this incident, but Chase is a reputed member of the Slutty Gang. According to police records, he was reportedly shot by police back in 2024 after allegedly wielding a gun, and in 2023, he was also reportedly shot by a cop in the chest on a Bronx bus during a fight with other teens. Lackard is officially out of a job with the city of Mount Vernon, effective immediately. A spokesman says in part.
So what I've been saying for the past 2 years, actually it's more so the last year, is that not only are members, government actors in Westchester County gang affiliated, they use tax dollars to cover up their own corruption, to cover up the fact that everyone's a gang member, and to also Make it so that society accepts these people, pretend that they are not gang members, so that they can prey on the community.
Quote, the allegations are unrelated to her duties with the Mount Vernon Police Department and do not stem from any conduct associated with the department or
The allegations are unrelated to her duties with the Mount Vernon Police Department and do not stem from any conduct associated with the department or the performance of her official responsibilities. Mount Vernon Police Department remains fully
performance of her official responsibilities.
committed to its nationally recognized
committed to its nationally recognized wellness unit. The department will continue to operate without interruption, and the critical wellness services and support it provides to our officers, civilian employees, their families, and the community at large will continue as part of the department's ongoing commitment to the health and well-being of its workforce. Now, in addition to that attempted murder charge, Jennifer Lackard and her son Chase also face conspiracy charges. We're also learning tonight that Jennifer Lackard has already been arraigned at Bronx Criminal Court. She's due back in late September. We're still awaiting to find out what happened during that arraignment. Her son Chase is still in.
Furthermore, had this occurred in Westchester County, the Westchester County Homicide Unit, which more than likely would have investigated this, would have spent the taxpayers' dollars covering this up, ensuring that no one knows about it.
Inside the 44th precinct, expected to also be arraigned tonight. He also has multiple court appearances on the calendar for the coming weeks to unrelated incidents.
All right.
Jennifer Lackard was a.
I'm not sure if it's worth it to go through this. Let's see. Mount Vernon fired Jennifer Lackard, a deputy police commissioner, on Tuesday following her arrest for attempted murder in New York City. Lackard, 49, was arrested in connection with a late-night shooting in the Bronx on June 29th, NYPD said. I suspect this was in the year 2026. The city of Mount Vernon said the charges are unrelated to Lackard's conduct within the police department. The city of Mount Vernon is corrupt. Absolutely corrupt. God only knows what else she's done, and the FBI needs to come into Westchester County and investigate what else she's done, but they're not going to because she's gang-affiliated, and gang members are allowed to commit whatever crimes they want in Westchester County. And beyond that, everyone's supposed to pretend that the gang members are not gang members and the people that report crime are the gang members. So let's continue. What we know, Lackard, 49, was charged with attempted murder and more than a dozen other counts related to late-night shooting on June 29th in the Bronx, the NYPD said. Another suspect, Chase Lackard, 20, was also charged in the case. In a statement, the city of Mount Vernon said it was aware of the charges filed by Bronx County District Attorney's Office against Lackard. The police department's deputy commissioner of wellness, and her employment was terminated effective immediately. The allegations are, we already read that. That was on the story. Lackard's arrest comes more than a month after the shooting investigation began. The NYPD said officers responded to a 911 call about shots fired in the area of East 162nd Street, I should say East 162nd Street, and Grand Avenue in the 44th precinct at 11:57 p.m. on June 29. According to police, officers were told an unidentified individual fired at a group of people and then fled the scene in a vehicle. Okay, so here's another issue. There is a government agency running wiretaps on me. How is it possible if they knew that this group of individuals would be at that precise location? Because you have law enforcement in Westchester County running illegal wiretaps on people. Like, what are the chances that this happened directly in front of a courthouse at 11:57 p.m.? They knew they were there. None of this makes any sense. According to police, officers were told an unidentified individual fired at a group of people and then fled the scene in a vehicle. There were no injuries, according to investigators. The next story. We've got New York Deputy Police Commissioner fired after attempted murder arrest. Mount Vernon official is accused of driving getaway car after son allegedly opened fire outside Bronx court. So there seems to be some disputed information. One of these stories reports that her husband, who is a heroin dealer with convictions for heroin trafficking, was also in the vehicle, and he may have also been driving the car. It doesn't make sense that he wasn't charged, and more than likely, potentially, he's an informant, because that's what happens in Westchester County. You have people that are gang members, that are informants, and then it's society's job to pretend, A, that they're not gang members, B, to put the crime onto other people, and C, They're using tax dollars to do all of this. A New York State Police Department fired its deputy commissioner on Tuesday after she allegedly acted as a getaway driver for her son in what is being investigated as an attempted murder. The city of Mount Vernon said in an Instagram post that it had terminated Jennifer Lackert, deputy police commissioner for safety, for conduct unrelated to her duties. Lackert, 49, and her 20-year-old son Chase were arrested in an early morning raid on Tuesday at their home in New York City's Bronx Borough, according to the New York Daily News, citing police sources. The newspaper said the pair were charged with attempted murder, attempted assault, gun possession, conspiracy, and reckless endangerment in connection with shots that were fired at a group of people outside Bronx Criminal Court on June 29th. Chase Lackert was the alleged gunman, according to Daily News, and jumped into a car that was driven from the scene at speed by his mother. Nobody was struck or injured during the shooting. The Mount Vernon statement referenced the charges against Lackert in its announcement of her fire. The announcement described her as the city's former deputy police commissioner of wellness. The Mount Vernon Police Department is aware of criminal charges filed by the Bronx County District Attorney's Office against former deputy commissioner of wellness, Jennifer Lackert, the statement said. Effective immediately, the city of Mount Vernon has terminated Jennifer Lackert's employment. The allegations are unrelated to her duties within Mount Vernon Police and do not stem from any conduct associated with the department or performance of her official responsibilities. That needs to be investigated by the FBI. You cannot listen to these people. They are corrupt, and all they do is cover up corruption. According to the See-Through New York Government Transparency website, Lackert's salary was $138,000 in 2025. Chase Lackert had previously been shot multiple times, according to reports, in January 2023 when he was 17. He was reportedly shot in the chest on a bus in a reported dispute over gang signs with 3 other boys. A 14-year-old member of a rival gang was later arrested and charged with attempted murder. At the time, Mount Vernon's mayor, Sean Patterson Howard, called Jennifer Lackert a valuable member of our leadership team and said the city was praying for her son's recovery. I have personally met Mount Vernon's mayor, Sean Patterson Howard. I've previously reported corruption within Mount Vernon Police Department to her, and they don't care. All they do is cover it up, and it is not possible that the city of Mount Vernon did not know that her son was a gangman. I'll continue. Then in November 2024, police in the Bronx responded to reports of a large fight and ended up shooting Chase Lackert, then 19, after he was alleged to have pointed a 9mm pistol at an officer's car. Lackert was taken to the hospital with 2 gunshot wounds to a leg and later criminally charged. How is it possible that the city of Mount Vernon was unaware of this? It is not possible. Not only would I allege that the city of Mount Vernon knew about it, the Westchester County District Attorney's Office knew about it, every goddamn criminal defense attorney in the city of White Plains knew about it, and they just all pretend none of this is true. It's like Shutter Island. No one's a gang member except for the people that report crime. Let me continue. The New York City Police Department's Chief of Patrol, John Chell, told reporters that Lackert was also arrested in September 2024 on a gun charge. In a statement following that episode, the Mount Vernon mayor called it a personal matter, and we are praying for the family. No lawyer was immediately listed for Lackert on Tuesday. The city of Mount Vernon said it will not comment on the underlying allegations. The Guardian sent a request for comment to the Bronx County District Attorney's Office. That's the end of this. Right? Next, New York Post. Actually, they've got him on camera. How about that? And is that his mother standing right there? So let's see. Surveillance footage of the 2024 incident where Lackert was shot by police in the Bronx. This is a different incident. The gun recovered after the 2024 police shooting involving Lackert. The scene after Chase Lackert was shot inside of a BX5 city bus at Story Avenue and Metcalf Avenue in the Bronx, New York on Saturday, January 21st, 2023. Jennifer Lackert, the now former Mount Vernon Deputy Police Commissioner, is escorted out of the 44th Precinct in the Bronx on Tuesday, August 4th, 2026. Jennifer Lackert was a Deputy Commissioner at Mount Vernon Police Department. Chase Lackert allegedly shot at a group of rivals in the Bronx. Lackert and her husband allegedly helped their son plan the shooting. What I'm trying to figure out is how is her husband not charged? There is a... Consistently in Westchester County, you see people that are involved in crime, that are gang members, that are confidential informants, and nothing happens to them. People pretend that they do not commit crime. Mount Vernon Deputy Police Commissioner Jennifer Lackard appears at Bronx Criminal Court. The mom and dad then dropped him back off at home, the record said. Chase Lackard's girlfriend is also in cuffs after the deranged family affair, sources said, but her part in the fiasco wasn't mentioned in the indictment from Bronx District Attorney Darcel Clark's office. How Jennifer Lackard first called on with Mount Vernon Police Department wasn't immediately clear, as she did not have job. Here we go. How Jennifer Lackard first called on with Mount Vernon Police Department wasn't immediately clear, as she did not have on-the-job experience as a cop. Why did they hire her? How did she get this job? Is it because, who knows? I'm not even going to speculate. But she was appointed to the deputy commissioner role of the wellness unit in 2022. At the time, she told News 12 that the precinct would respond to constituents suffering from mental health issues without implementing traditional police tactics. I am going to speculate on how she got the job. In Westchester County, if you are willing to cover up crime, they will hire you. If you commit crime, if you whistleblow on crime, you are terminated. You are out of there. That's a photo we've already seen. A lot of the people we encounter are in mental health crisis. Some are combatant, some are really aggressive, and some are not. And some are frequent flyers because they don't have support, Lackard said. By then, she had already worked for organizations focused on reentry programs for formerly incarcerated people, her social media profile showed. Her husband, James, had spent a decade in prison for conspiracy to distribute heroin in North Carolina and was released from federal custody in February 2020, according to prison records. This is absolutely unacceptable. This is disgusting that this woman was employed as a police commissioner in Westchester County, in any city, in any jurisdiction, and this is happening on a daily basis in Westchester County. Everyone goes around pretending that no one's involved in crime, no one ever did anything wrong, and it's all made up. It's disgusting. Her son started his gangbanging while she was on the job in the Westchester City, including a November 24 incident where he pointed a loaded Glock 43 9mm at cops during a dispute, according to law enforcement sources. Chase Lackard was shot twice in the leg by police and later charged with criminal use of a firearm and menacing a police officer in that incident, sources said. Only a year earlier, her troubled son, then 17, was also shot in the chest on a BX5 bus in Soundview after fighting with 3 other youths, cops said at the time. Chase Lackard allegedly flashed gang signs at the boys and then asked for their gang affiliation before allegedly trying to drag one of them off the bus. One of them then shot him in the chest. So, this was in 2023. She was already employed for the city of Mount Vernon. It is not possible that the entire government in the city of Mount Vernon was not aware that her son was a goddamn gang member. And they just all go around pretending that none of it is true. Mount Vernon, a Democratic stronghold city of just over 70,000 sharing a border with the Bronx, is known as a hot spot of scandal, bureaucratic dysfunction, and corruption. Though the city is in bucolic Westchester County, in bucolic Westchester, it is an urban community blighted by pockets of poverty and crime. Law enforcement activists Damon Jones, publisher of a Mount Vernon-centric newspaper called Black Westchester Magazine, called the latest issue another embarrassment for the community. The only city in the county where Black residents make up a majority of the population, and that's not true. The majority of the population in the city of Mount Vernon are immigrants. Black people did not immigrate to the United States of America. Black people were brought to this country against their will on slave ships, and some of them jumped off of slave ships and drowned because they did not want to come here. The citizens in the city of Mount Vernon willfully immigrated to the United States of America. There are almost no Black people left in the city of Mount Vernon. All these people are from the Caribbean. They're Jamaicans. They're from Barbados. They're from Haiti. When you go to Jamaica, no one's Black. They're all Jamaicans. When you go to Haiti, No one is black. They're all Haitian. Law enforcement activist Damon Jones, publisher of a Mount Vernon-centric newspaper called Black Westchester Magazine, called the latest issue. Yeah, I just read that. I'm embarrassed as a black law enforcement officer to see the dysfunction in a city that has a black mayor, a majority of black city council, a majority black police department, that we have to see continuing dysfunction and just foolery in an organization that should be so professional. Jones, a 33-year veteran of Westchester County Department of Corrections, told the Post. Blackard should never have been appointed to her leadership post, Jones railed, pointing out that her social work background was insufficient to kickstart the wellness unit of the troubled police department. Unfortunately, we see this with Democrats, that they put people in positions, especially in law enforcement positions, that they shouldn't be there, said Jones. That is the last part, or I should say, that is the last story I'm doing on this. I have multiple notices of claims against the city of Mount Vernon, stemming from a number of things, accepting a false police report against me after they told me to come make a police report about a former employer. They also then spoiled the evidence intentionally because they knew I was suing that former employer. Beyond that, I have it, or I should say it's my belief that Officer Bassiano of the Mount Vernon Police Department coached someone by the name of Taylor Pintello in that police report. I did get the 911 call, and his police report was materially different from what was reported to 911 and what he also himself reported to his supervisor on that 911 call. More recently, that same exact former employer, with no regard for New York labor law, is stealing money from their employees. Mount Vernon Police threatened to arrest me rather than take a police report against that company. They are one of the worst offenders in regards to government corruption. Furthermore, more recently, I was terminated from another employer, and they are alleging that I am a gang member rather than all of the other people that are gang members. And where this has come to is now that since I'm the only gang member and no one else is a gang member, everyone's wife is swinging with gang members. And now they help facilitate these gang members, I guess you could say, criminal actions. You've got married white women in their 40s and 50s going around pretending that all of these gang members are A, not gang members, B, they commit no crime, and C, that all the crimes they commit, I commit. What is happening in Westchester County is absolutely disgusting. All of the tax dollars go to covering up government corruption. And that's basically all I have to say.